What would you do if a child looked up at you with desperate eyes and asked you to bury her baby sister? Not to save her, but to bury her. Imagine hearing those words on a busy city street while everyone else walks by, too caught up in their own lives to notice a tragedy unfolding in plain sight. This isn't fiction. This is the true story of Michael Drummond, a millionaire widower who discovered that the greatest fortune isn't counted in dollars. It's measured in the seconds you have left to save a life. And what he did next didn't just change two children's destinies, it changed his own. Before we dive into this powerful story, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss stories like this that remind us what really matters. Drop a comment below telling me where you're watching from. I love connecting with you. Now let's get into it. Michael Drummond had perfected the art of existing without living. At 53, he was the founder and CEO of Drummond Financial Solutions, a wealth management firm that handled portfolios worth hundreds of millions. His penthouse overlooked Chicago's skyline, 40 floors of glass and steel separating him from the humanity below. It had been 4 years since his wife Sarah died of ovarian cancer. 4 years since he'd felt anything resembling joy, purpose, or connection. Work had become his anesthetic. 18-hour days, endless meetings, acquisitions that filled the hours until he could take another sleeping pill and shut down for the night. On that suffocating July afternoon, Chicago was in the grip of a brutal heat wave, temperatures hitting 103 degrees. Michael had just left a lunch meeting. Another million-dollar deal closed with a handshake and hollow congratulations. His driver was stuck in traffic, so he decided to walk. That's when he heard it. A sound that cut through the urban noise like a knife. A child's voice, raw with grief. "Please, somebody help. I need to bury my sister. Please, can someone help me bury her?" Michael stopped. Against every instinct telling him to keep walking, he followed the sound down an alley between two buildings. The alley smelled of garbage and urine, the heat trapped between brick walls. And there, sitting against the wall, was a little girl. She couldn't have been more than 9 years old. Her clothes were rags, her feet bare and covered in cuts. Her hair hung matted in her face. But it was her eyes that stopped Michael's heart. Brown eyes filled with grief so profound, it seemed impossible they belonged to a child. And in her arms, wrapped in a torn blanket, was a baby, maybe 18 months old, completely still. Gray skin, cracked lips, her tiny chest not moving. The girl looked up at him, tears streaming down her face. "Mister, do you have money? I need to bury my baby sister. She died this morning and she's getting cold. Please. I'll pay you back someday, I promise. I just need help to bury her somewhere nice." Michael opened his mouth, but nothing came out. Then something, instinct, hope, denial, made him move. He knelt down. "Let me see her," he said, his voice hoarse. Slowly, reluctantly, the girl loosened her grip. Michael pulled back the blanket and pressed 2 fingers against the baby's neck, searching for a pulse. 5 seconds passed. 10. Nothing. And then, there. Faint. So faint he almost missed it. "She's alive," Michael gasped. "She's not dead. She's alive, but barely. We need to get her to a hospital now." "What's your name?" he asked. "Emma," she whispered. "Emma, I'm Michael. I'm going to save your sister, but you need to trust me." Michael scooped the baby into his arms and ran. His driver had just pulled up. "Children's Memorial Hospital," Michael barked. "Run every red light. G.O." "What's your sister's name?" Michael asked. "Grace," Emma whispered. "Where are your parents, Emma?" "Dead. Mama died when Grace was born. Daddy died last year. We went to foster care, but they were mean, so I took Grace and we left. I've been taking care of her. I tried so hard, mister. I gave her all my food, but the heat, and she got sick, and I didn't know what to do." Michael's throat tightened. "You did everything right. You didn't give up. That's what matters. He burst through the ER doors. I need help now. Infant, severe dehydration, possible heat stroke, barely responsive. Nurses rushed Grace away on a gurney. A social worker appeared, Jennifer Walsh. Sir, what's your relationship to these children? I found them. In an alley. The baby was dying. The older girl will need evaluation. If there's no legal guardian, Child Protective Services will need to be involved. No, Emma said suddenly, grabbing Michael's arm. Please, they'll separate us. They'll take Grace away. Michael looked down at this fierce little girl who'd been living on the streets to protect her sister. Something cracked open inside him, something frozen for 4 years. She stays with me, Michael said. Both of them. Whatever paperwork needs to be filed, make it happen. But these girls aren't going into the system. Mr. Drummond, there are protocols, background checks, home studies. Then start them. I have lawyers. I have resources. These children aren't being separated and they aren't going to strangers. Emma looked up at Michael with hope. You mean it? Michael knelt to her level. I mean it. I promise. It was the first promise he'd made since Sarah died, and saying it, he felt something he hadn't felt in 4 years. Purpose. If this story has gripped you so far, make sure you're subscribed because what happens next will move you even more. Hit that like button to show me you're invested in this journey. 6 hours in the waiting room. Emma refused to leave, staring at the ICU doors where Grace fought for her life. Michael made calls, to lawyers, to his assistant, clearing his schedule indefinitely. When his CFO called about an urgent meeting, Michael said something he'd never said. Cancel it. I'm not coming. Around midnight, Dr. Sarah Chen emerged. Grace is stable. Severe dehydration, malnutrition, pneumonia. Another few hours and we would have lost her. But she's a fighter. She'll need to stay in ICU for at least a week. Emma burst into tears. Michael pulled her against his chest and let her sob. That night, Michael took Emma to his penthouse. She stood in the marble entryway, looking around with frightened eyes. Is this your house? Yes, and for now it's your house too. I'll get it dirty. Emma, I don't care about the floors. Let's get you cleaned up and fed. After her bath, he made her scrambled eggs and watched as she devoured them. When did you last eat? Yesterday. I had part of a sandwich someone threw away. I gave the rest to Grace. You'll never go hungry again. I promise you that. He set her up in a guest room. She stood in the doorway, not entering. I've never slept in a bed before. Not since we left the foster home. You deserve a warm bed, a safe home. You can't break anything here that matters. You matter more than any of this. At 3 a.m, she appeared beside his bed. I had a nightmare. Grace was gone. Grace is safe. She's at the hospital getting better. Can I stay here? Just for tonight? Emma climbed in, curling up on Sarah's side, the side empty for 4 years. Within minutes, she was asleep. For the first time since Sarah died, the bed didn't feel empty, and Michael realized he wasn't saving these children. They were saving him. Drop a comment below telling me what you would have done in Michael's situation. Would you have stopped? 2 weeks of hospital visits, legal consultations, and CPS interviews followed. Jennifer Walsh started the process, but the system moved slowly. Emergency custody is temporary, she told Michael. There's a full investigation, home visits, background checks, and there's the adoption wait list, families who've been waiting years. I don't care about the wait list. Those girls have already lost everyone. I'm not letting them lose each other. Grace improved daily. By day 10, she was upgraded from ICU. By day 14, she was sitting up, eating, smiling. Emma never left her side, mothering her baby sister with fierce devotion. The CPS home visit came with endless questions. Why do you want to adopt these particular children? Because they need a home, and I have one. Have you considered that your grief might be influencing your judgment? My grief has nothing to do with this. These children were dying. I had the power to help. So I did. The hearing would determine custody. The night before, Emma came to Michael's room. What if they take us away tomorrow? They won't. Why do you want us? You're rich. You could have anything. Why two messed up kids from the street? You're not messed up. You're survivors. You're brave. Your sister was dying and I couldn't save my wife, but I could save Grace. And maybe in saving you two, you're saving me too. Emma laid her head against his chest. I love you. Is it okay to say that? Michael's eyes filled with tears. It's more than okay. I love you too. Both of you. The courtroom felt like a battlefield. The CPS attorney questioned Michael's experience, his work hours, his sudden decision to take on traumatized children. Michael stood. Would they be placed together or separated? The attorney hesitated. We would try. The reality is, you'd separate them. Emma starved herself to feed her sister. She slept on the streets to keep her safe. You want to reward that devotion by tearing them apart? The judge turned to Emma. What do you want? I want to stay with Michael. And I want Grace with me. Do you feel safe with him? Yes. He saved Grace. He gave us food and a home, and he's teaching me to read better. He's good. He's so good. Please don't take us away from him. Judge Morrison was silent. Mr. Drummond, stand up, please. Michael stood, heart pounding. I've reviewed everything. The system isn't perfect, but sometimes the right thing and the legal thing align. I'm granting you continued temporary custody with a review in 6 months for formal adoption. Emma threw her arms around him. Thank you, Michael said, voice hoarse. Hit that like button if this moment gave you chills. 6 months later, the penthouse had transformed. Toys, books, finger paintings on the refrigerator, a play kitchen in the corner. Michael had stepped back from day-to-day operations. He worked from home 3 days a week. He never missed bedtime. Emma thrived in 3rd grade. Grace, now 2, was healthy and called Michael Dada. The formal adoption hearing arrived. Judge Morrison smiled. Back again, Mr. Drummond. Yes, Your Honor. Here to make it official. The proceedings were simple. Everyone recommended approval. Emma, you understand what adoption means? It means we're a family forever. It means nobody can take us away. That's right. And that's what you want? Yes, ma'am, more than anything. Then it's official. Emma Patterson and Grace Patterson are now Emma Drummond and Grace Drummond. Michael felt tears stream down his face, happy tears, the first since Sarah died. That evening, after pizza and cake, after the girls went to bed, Michael stood in his living room looking at the chaos of toys and books. He thought about that July day, how close he'd come to walking past. He thought about Sarah and knew she'd orchestrated this, that she'd put him in that alley because he needed saving as much as those girls did. Emma appeared in the hallway. Dad? I had a bad dream. Dad. She'd started calling him that a month ago. Come here, sweetheart. I dreamed we were back in the alley and nobody stopped. But I did stop. And I'm never letting you go. Promise? Promise. She laid her head on his shoulder. I'm glad it was you who found us. Me too, honey. Me too. What this story teaches us, sometimes the people we save end up saving us. Michael thought he was rescuing 2 children, but they were rescuing him from a hollow life. They reminded him that wealth means nothing without love, that success means nothing without connection, that existing isn't the same as living. This is the power of compassion, not grand gestures, but the simple act of stopping, of seeing someone else's pain, of choosing to get involved when it would be easier to walk away. You have the power to change a life. Maybe not with millions of dollars. Maybe just with a moment of attention, a gesture of kindness, a decision to stop walking. If this story touched your heart, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment telling me about a time you stopped for someone, or a time someone stopped for you. Let's build a community that believes in showing up for each other. Thank you for watching until the end. Thank you for caring. Thank you for being the kind of person who stops. Now go watch the next video, another story about ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Because these stories aren't just entertainment, they're reminders of who we can choose to be. See you in the next one.